What's up? Good morning, guys. It's Daniel here, owner of RFD. So in our first full video, I'm going to be taking you along with us in going to race in the Cars Tour. So really big opportunity, excited to get to go race heads up against Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's kind of a bucket list thing. Like my responsibilities here change from day to day, from just mechanic to crew chief to driver coach to driver, and this weekend we get to play driver. So first off, I want to go kind of over some of the differences in the late model stock. So this is only going to be my second time in a late model stock car. They're quite a bit different from our Super and Pro Late races that we race down here. So first off, this is my Super, my Fury. You can see big open motor, 630 horsepower, big 4-piston caliper brakes, rack and pinion steering, offset chassis, a lot more aero in the body. The late model stock is a straight up chassis, so there's no offset left to right. It's a steering box car, stock steering box. So the steering is just a lot different feel. They are 300 pounds heavier than a Super or a Pro Late. So that's going to take some getting used to. They run a Detroit locker for rear end instead of like everything we run down here is all spooled. They don't run any stagger. So it's difficult. Like everything we race down here with the spool and the stagger combination, you get used to being able to roll to the gas to turn the car in the center of the corner if you're tight. So that's just something else to take into account. Like if you rush the throttle, it just gets tighter. It doesn't turn at all. And one of the biggest differences is single piston GM calipers. Like the braking system, the braking and the steering has more in common with my Pro Truck than with a late model. So totally different feel. They're open cockpit cars too. Like as far as the interior doesn't fully envelop you like a Super. It's a firewall, and then like the pedals are exposed, the gauges are exposed, dasher or the switch are all exposed. Totally different animal. And like I used to be cocooned in like a little fighter jet with our late model stuff. But yeah, looking forward to getting in it. We get 2 practice days. They have an optional test day that pretty much everyone opts for because you have to or you get behind. Official test on Thursday, official test day Friday, and then 2 quick rounds of practice on Saturday, qualify and go race. It's a super tight field. These guys, from first to last, is under 0.3 of a second sometimes. It's crazy how tight that and how professional that field is. And it's people that race these things every week of their life. So, being an invader, I have to be extra on my game to pick up, right off the bat with what they are used to. It's not like if they're coming to race with me in something that I'm used to, I would have an advantage. Now, I do have a racetrack advantage, being that I've been there with Supers, Pros, Sportsmans. This is their first time there. So hopefully that kind of outweighs everything and ends up being a fair shot back and forth. But just looking forward to the opportunity to get in race with the Carroll Speed Shop again. Those guys are great. Got Joe Winchell's going to be there helping on my car. Known those guys since we were kids. So it'd be cool to get to it's weird for me just to get to show up and drive. I'm used to kind of also being my crew chief, team manager, booking the hotels, loading the trailer, driving the rig, blah, 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 like I'm sure most of you guys are. So to get to show up and just bring my helmet, basically, looking forward to that. Just concentrate on driving. So we'll head out of here about 4 in the morning tomorrow and get up there in time to unload, start practicing around noon, and just run through, making sure I fit in it good, make sure everything's comfortable, everything's happy, and make sure I have, Cordele's tricky, it's technical. You have to have a lot of rotation right in the center where the car really loads up into one, and late center once the car kind of gets out of load and gets numb. You need to be able to keep it pointed down against the inside wall further around the corner in 3 and 4, but you also lack a lot of just side bite stability off of 2 and into 3 on the more open ends of the track. You could really burn the rears off there in a hurry. So very technical. And let's just figure out what feel I need out of that thing and what it's capable of giving me at the same time pretty quick. And then hopefully we could get it figured out and go put on a show live on Flow. Morning, guys. Been on the road for a while this morning. It's test day. Got a big coffee to make it there. Running on pretty short amount of sleep. Last night up late getting Tim's car done, ready to go. Today I get to put the driver hat back on, and look forward to hopping in that thing. You know, it's a totally different feel, the late model stock versus the Super or the Pro. So I've driven them once, so I got to reacclimate to that. See how it works around Cordele. That place it's a unique track. Not a ton of side bite. You have to be pretty patient to roll 3 and 4. 1 and 2 you can charge pretty hard. It's a fun, unique place. So looking forward to getting up there and let you guys know how it's going. Over here telling me about Ricky quitting and all that bullshit. Alright, now we're allowed to go. He's done talking. just finished up practice. Pretty excited. I feel like we were fighting a bad set of tires yesterday. The car never turned. We threw a ton at it, and we spent most of the day in P57, which is a little nerve-wracking. But we mocked up the end of the day yesterday. The car drove pretty good. I didn't really hit my line right because it turned so much better than I was expecting. So today I wanted to restart mocked up on the same set of tires, 3-lap scuffs, go out there and just see if I could adjust what I was doing behind the wheel. Because it's such a different animal. Like, these cars, they do not run rear stagger. And everything I come from, supers, pros, sportsmen, we all run quite a bit. So you use the throttle to turn yourself, especially on short run stuff. These, they don't run stagger, so you have to be patient. You have to let the car get turned before you can throttle down. So I had to readjust a little bit and went out and put it P3 in the first practice today. Really cool to see 200ths away from winning a practice session. But in a field this tight, man, just to be near the front is exciting. Final practice, just worked on some long run stuff. Just worked on field, just tried to run 75-80% laps to see if I can pinpoint anything I wanted to tune on. I'll make a couple adjustments and gonna fill it full fuel and we'll see what we do in qualifying when it matters. Little final prep going on, getting full of fuel, checking some stuff over, getting all our loads set, get ready to put tires on and go through tech here in a few minutes. Put it all back, whatever, pretend it. Try to qualify in the top 10. Haven't you taken out time?
Hey, bud. How are you?
So much ability. This is a long awesome agents teams, including several of them that come from the Commonwealth of Virginia. This is a bit of a long haul down here, but Ford did everything they could to try to accommodate these teams to make it an enjoyable experience.
Back in row 11, Daniel Webster for the Carroll Speed Shop. Looking forward to this race, another first in late model stock car competition. Kate Brown's got some work to do to get back to form for him as he's been strong in the early part of 2025. He's obviously taken a liking to it and trying to get back up towards the top 10. And Carroll Speed Shop right now showing well with he knocking on the door of the top 10. Landon Huffman in third. And Daniel Webster fighting his guts out a little further behind him. said and done. 8 laps to go under green flag conditions for Connor Hall, Minnie Tyrell, now Carson Lofton, Landon Huffman, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Landon Lewis, your top 6 as they work their way into the iRacing restart zone. Back underway, Connor Hall is Lofton, runs out of gas right in front of Earnhardt, or doesn't get through the gears. Heavy damage for Earnhardt Jr. as he's going to have to nestle that car back to the end of this race.
Junior's just trying to get that car down to the bottom while his team car, Connor Hall, slides up in front of Tyrell to take the lead. Minnie's trying to cut back under. Hall's got the tough spot to 1.
And now there may be a little bit of contact between your top 2, but Connor Hall, opportunity, like we mentioned, further back in the field to try and make some last-minute adjustments on their race cars. Taylor Satterfield is in. I believe Donovan Strauss I also see out of our vantage point on pit road. Daniel Webster, Cade Brown, Michael Foes, several of the takers down in the pit lane.
Oh, this series is a battle. Started 21st. Pitted a few times for adjustments, worked really, really hard to get in position for a top 10 at the end, and just we were 9th on the last restart. Car in front of me missed a shift, so I ended up 12th. So one piece, a lot of battling, a lot of passing, a lot of grinding, a lot of trying to figure out how to make it faster, searching around, just a little short. But all in all, good night. Top half of the field, but it was an adventure. Hey everybody, all right, we're back at the shop. It's Monday morning, it means back to work. It was fun getting to go up there and play race car driver for the weekend, but back to the real world. I got a Sportsman behind me there underneath the lift. I got to put the rear end back together, get it on the ground, do a full setup on it, and then I actually have Ernie Irvin's son's car out there. I need to get on, putting the body on it. It's waiting on me. So, tough fought weekend. Never quite got the center cut in the car we needed. Like, when I went to P3 on the mock run, it rotated really well. I could run the arc way I wanted to, hook it back to the bottom, nice straight run up off. It just, I never could get it to replicate that feel the rest of the weekend. I don't know why the temperature is just right or whatever. Those cars are a lot finickier than I expected for how weird they drive compared to Supers and Pros and things I'm used to. There's so much body roll, there's so much weight transition. It's a funky feeling, but I said, and the whole class is the same speed. Like you can see when Doug Barnes wrecked out running 3rd, he couldn't get by me for 19th or whatever for 40 laps, it seemed like. You know, we battled and I finally got up into the top 10, 9th on the last restart, and the 22 missed a shift from 3rd up in our row and lost a bunch of the spots. So we ended up finishing 12th. So, I mean, obviously goal one's finished on the lead lap. Coming to a track that I know I was really hoping my experience there would pay off and we could pull off, top 5 or so out of it. But wasn't quite meant to be, so missed out on our goal a little bit, but still finished a solid 12th in one of the most competitive series there is, and only my second time driving those cars, so I know I can't be too whiny about it, but it just sucks when you put that much work into making something come together to get to go have the opportunity. You want to make the most of it. But that's it for chapter 1 of me going to be a pay-to-play, fancy driver for the weekend. We're back to normal work. This weekend we have Matthew LaPrade, my development driver, racing in her truck back at Cordele, so I get to drive back to Georgia this weekend. We'll try to get you guys some shots of how that goes and then switch back into normal mode of life where I'm out here working 80 hours a week on making other people's race cars fast. So hope you guys enjoyed the ride. I think when we come back, we'll do a little bit more of, like I said, the work side of racing that we go through and just normal everyday life, not the bougie getting to get in the race, hang out with Dale Jr. and all that type of stuff. So, all right, see you guys next time.